Howdy, folks. We're back. Quickly again, we're looking at a new creature. It's another evil one, actually. Prizes with dry brushing make me happy. Okay, enough singing. I'm done. I'm done singing, I promise.
You won an OP event, so we dry brushed it for you. Because you're a champion.
No, but I gotta talk about the paint jobs again, because they're not terrible. Like, it's not like the blind boosters from some of the Star Trek Attack Wing.
Well,
the Saber.
I was gonna say,
saying anything,
not even. Like, we're not gonna name the Saber or anything. But there were even some like wave expansions. Like I remember when we first got into Attack Wing, the Defiant was disappointing to a lot of people. Where whose favorite ship was the Defiant. They're like, yeah, and then it was like, oh, okay. But
on the plus side, I'm seeing way more, like, really beautiful repaints of that game. I don't think you're going to see people motivated to repaint stuff.
No.
Like, it's just, like, good.
There are some... A bad paint job on these models and a bad sculpt is the exception.
Who wants to line the mouth of that lion? Seriously. Who? They painted eyes, they painted teeth. What? Like, I can't complain about any of this stuff. It's good. It's good. Anyways... We're talking about a creature that has 3 heads. One that is of a goat, one that is of a dragon, one that is of a lion. And I believe this creature is called a Chimera.
Yes, absolutely. The Chimera.
People will correct me in the comments, I'm sure. No, how long are we going to keep going?
I can do this all night long.
Oh my god. Okay. Okay.
Alright, so let's talk Chimeras.
I can't do this. It's a Chimera. It's a Chimera. I couldn't I'm sorry.
That is a very bizarre pronunciation of Chimera.
Okay. So I see you're not breaking.
No, absolutely not. Okay, so when you look at the points cost, same points cost as the Sphinx.
Yeah.
Which, what I find interesting is it's actually putting a lot of competition in the, like, small monster type of slot.
Yeah.
You know, because it's not just like you go big with your dragon, you take your troops, and you take some wizards. The idea of, like, small monsters I find fascinating. And this guy's fantastic. I honestly like him more. He has 2 attacks, both a bite and a horn melee attack, all range band 2, 4 attack dice for each, 1 evade, 5 health, 1 armor. And I love his ability. Unnamed version's great, but the ability on the named version is when you're attacking in range 1, so you do have to get up close and personal, you can force your opponent to reroll 1 defense dice of your choice. So basically, when he rolls his 2 defense, if 1 hits, you're like, reroll that one. And if they both miss, you're like, no, we're fine.
That's really powerful, too. Can we talk about how powerful that is? Because how often are you actually going to roll more than 3 defense dice?
Yeah, this isn't Star Trek Attack Wing with Cloaking Romulans, where you're just like, with interface generators, where they're re-rolling it. You don't encounter as many, like, huge stacks of
the defense. The game plays very quickly because of it, I find, as well.
Absolutely.
So that's one of the nice things, but yeah, re-rolling 1 dice that's a big deal.
It is a big deal. Personally, I think it's balanced out by its very mediocre cards. Because whereas the Sphinx cards were all fantastic, I'm like, I could happily take all 5 of these. These ones, I might take 1 or 2. So you have that guy there, Aggressive Surge. Basically, it's when you spend a charge token, you get to destroy an upgrade on whatever you're attacking as well, which for 3 points is pretty nice, but it's nothing.
Is really cheap.
It's nothing to write home about. Like, for me, if I'm building a list, I'll include it when I'm creating this monster, and then if I need to cut points, it's the first to go. I'm not upset that I lose it, but it's a nice to have, for sure. Iron Will is an auto-include. It is a 2-point upgrade, which basically allows you to remove an effect token. So if some jerk with a Sphinx tries to charm you, you can literally discard it and you're no longer charmed.
Evil. It's evil, you know?
Well, it doesn't... What, you're saying that when you do go to your OP event, you can't have evil versus evil games?
I'm just saying.
Or alternatively, you can discard... So both ways it's a 2-point discard, which is phenomenal. The other one is to take a face-up damage card, flip it face down. So if there's something absolutely debilitating, you can toss your Iron Will.
For 2 points.
For 2 points,
are you kidding me?
It's an auto-include. And there's no limitation, so any creature can take that, and I think that any evil player is happy to have it, even though it's not even faction specific.
We actually haven't talked about its movement, though, before
hey, you're
we
right.
get
Go
into
for
it. Very, very similar to the Sphinx as well. So, actually, I would say it's the same.
Yeah, I think it is.
I think it's actually
identical.
the same. Even, like, so you're looking at a very similar type of creature, and I think that's what makes it really interesting for me, anyways, is it looks like the Sphinx pack was a little more, kind of strategic, tactical, subtle, the subtlety and subterfuge of like, playing that type of character, whereas this one's a lot more straightforward. It's a lot simpler in terms of, like, you know,
this one's gonna run in.
You see how it's gonna work, right?
Yeah, like the Sphinx is very much about using your movement correctly and using your abilities at the right times to get the most utility out of them. Your Chimera's it's a missile. You're going to point it at the thing you want to attack hard, because there's a couple cards that help that as well.
Are you suggesting that the Chimera is like the Klingons of D&D Attack Wing?
What's a Klingon?
What's a Klingon?
Multitasker.
Did you just say Chimera, by the way?
No.
I think you did.
Damn it. Multitasker is okay. Like, I feel like if this was a 3-point card, I would take it every time at 5 points. Basically, it's you can disable that card to take a second action as a free action, but it has to be off of your bar. So when you look at it, he has 3 actions off of his bar, and they're good. They're solid actions. Don't get me wrong. Like, these are your bread and butter.
Can you stack them?
Yeah. Or like stack as in take 2 of the same.
Yeah.
No game lets you do that.
I'm just saying.
So again, like, that's the thing is, like, 5
I was reading
points.
just in case it allowed you.
5 points and a discard is where I kind of draw the line, and I'm like, you know what? I feel like I would just leave this at home. It just feels too expensive.
I thought I was the one who hated 5-point discards.
But it's not even a discard, it's a disable.
Oh.
Just to be able to use 2 of these 3 in a single turn.
I don't know, I don't
And
think
then the
that's
next
bad.
turn you have to spend your action to re-enable it.
Yeah, but
and then, like,
okay, what if I say you take this card on the Sphinx? All of a sudden the card becomes really interesting.
Must be a Chimera to equip.
Oh gosh darn it.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm like, meh.
Okay.
Read that one, that one's fantastic.
Demonic Assault. Action. Disable this upgrade, then place a timer on it. It's continuous effect. Instead of attacking normally, you may make 1 bite attack, 1 horns attack, and 1 breath attack if possible. I love it! You use all 3 heads!
That's exactly it. He gets to use all 3 heads.
Okay.
And that's really just, you're gonna open up and you are gonna rip into one
It's
creature.
5 points?
Oh yeah, that's
awesome.
Oh, that's the one you take.
That's the one you take.
That one and your corrosive breath so that you get that 3rd attack.
I love corrosive breath. I love breath attacks. I do. I love anything with a breath attack. I'm a fan.
Yeah, well, because breath attacks ignore armor.
Yeah.
This one is a straight line.
And it's 3 points? Oh my gosh.
It's a 3-point.
It's a 3-point attack.
And it's a lined range attack that penetrates armor. So it's just
awesome.
like, you just wait for it on your demonic assault turn, and then you just go for broke. And
you're good to go. So we've got the Regalia and the, what do they call it? I keep forgetting. Adornments. Is it because Tiamat's a girl? Like, I feel like that's a little bit sexist. Anyways. The wings of Tiamat and Bahamut are really, I think they're really cool in that they let you basically ground a set number of opponent flying models within range, I think it's range 3, full range 1 through 3, to the ground. And that's super useful. That is super useful because you not only ground them, you wind sweep them first. So it really affects what you can do. I love how this is one of those abilities that, again, can change the entire landscape depending on how your opponent builds. I'm not seeing, and I can't say competitive, like, again, we don't play competitively, but from what I've seen in the forums and how people are playing this game, I'm not seeing a lot of, like, full dragon builds. I recognize that they're not as powerful, and people are taking very defensive, very, well, let's say dwarfy kind of builds, in terms of taking the ballista.
With the surprise all-star of the ballista.
The surprise all-star of the ballista. You would not imagine.
The pack that I would walk past all day
shelf.
long, and then you read it, you're like, I'm really happy with this.
This is an incredible pack. This pack is incredible. It's a foundation of, like, every good list you make, really, like, if you're gonna play it. But, I mean, I feel like there's some really interesting options out there now, that can break it up, but the game balance is still very much there. And I think that with the stuff that these prizes offer as well, it kind of mixes it up, but it doesn't break it. And that's one thing that I've kind of noticed more and more, particularly recently, is that a lot of the prize packs are cool and nice to have and interesting and unique, so they feel special, but they are not must-haves to win.
Well, like the Sutherland, because when that Sutherland pack came out,
and Star Trek,
getting your hands on the secondary torpedo launcher. I mean, people didn't really care about the Sutherland ship itself, but I remember our hard-fed players were borrowing, stealing, buying, doing everything they could to get their hands on that Sutherland pack, because they were just like, no, it's the linchpin of my list. Now, obviously, the meta shifted after, like, 12 more waves.
But I think with Star Trek 2, it was just because there were so many more factions, and there were so many fewer options within each faction because there were more factions.
Yeah.
You didn't have the same choice at the beginning of the game. Whereas in this game, there were really only 2 factions, right? Like, you have the neutrals in the middle. So it gives you a really great ability to have more variation in your list builds, particularly, like, how many months are we from launch? 6 months?
Yeah, they're about.
From launch, which is really great. So I'm pretty pleased with this. I really like this model as well. I think it's darn freaking cool. And come on, right?
Oh yeah, that is probably my second favorite, because the Frost Giant still wins hands down. But that is easily my second favorite.
I think I'm gonna touch up the ram's eyes to make them look a little more glowy and evil. But otherwise, man, like, there's just the little bits can be personalized, but the models look great right out of the box, and I'm really pleased with that. So, yeah, that's this prize pack. Thanks for watching.
Cheers.